The sky above the planet Korath was red. Smoke rose in thick columns from cities that had once been full of life. Great towers lay in ruins, and streets were littered with the debris of war. The alien people of Korath, proud and intelligent, now moved like shadows among the wreckage of their own civilization. Every day the enemy fleet pressed closer. Every day hope grew thinner. In the grand command hall of Korath's capital, the leaders gathered. Their uniforms were torn, their faces marked with exhaustion and worry. General Varric, a tall alien, with scales dark as ash, slammed a clawed hand onto the table. The holographic map in front of them displayed red markers, enemy forces, closing in from every direction. "We cannot hold them for much longer," Varric said, his voice sharp and heavy with frustration. "Our fleets are shattered. Our defenses fail at every turn. Soon Korath will fall. We are done." Admiral Celira, a strategist known for her cool mind even in the chaos of war, shook her head. Her pale blue eyes scanned the map, tracing the movements of the enemy. "We are not done yet," she said softly. "There is still a chance. A small chance, but it exists." Varric laughed bitterly. "A chance? Look at the numbers, Celira. They have 10 times our ships. They control the outer systems. Soon they will surround us here. We have fought with honor, but honor will not stop them." Celira leaned closer to the hologram. "Honor is not what will save us, but strategy can. There is one option that almost no one dares to consider. One option that could change everything." Varric raised an eyebrow. "And what is that? Do you mean surrender? Beg for mercy?" Celira shook her head. "No, not mercy, help. There is a species, old, mysterious, and rarely seen, called humans. They are not part of our alliances. They do not interfere in our wars. But legends say they fight in ways no one else can. They are different." Varric's laughter died in his throat. "Humans," he repeated. "You speak of fairy tales. Stories for children, told to scare them into obedience. Humans do not exist here. Even if they do, why would they come? Why would they risk themselves for us?" Celira's eyes were steady. "Because they respond to the call of the desperate. Because when all hope is gone, they see opportunity in the impossible. We are at the brink, Varric. If we do nothing, Korath will be lost. But if we try, if we reach out, we might have a chance." The room was silent. The other leaders exchanged uneasy glances. Many had lived their lives fighting, proud and unyielding, and the idea of asking for outside help was almost impossible to accept. But the maps, the reports, and the smoke rising from the ruined cities spoke louder than pride. Finally, Varric leaned back, rubbing his jaw. "You are serious?" "I am," Celira said. "If we do not try, we die. If we try, we may live. And even if they do not answer, we will have made a stand, and the galaxy will remember our courage." Varric's claws tapped the table. "And if they do answer?" Celira's lips curved into a small, grim smile. "Then we might just survive." The decision was made. Orders were sent to every communication outpost on Korath. A distress signal, unlike any sent before, would reach across the stars. It was coded in a way only the humans might understand. Rumors said their intelligence was unmatched, and their minds could decipher patterns that others could not. The alien scientists worked day and night, weaving messages into signals, broadcasting hope into the void. Outside the command hall in the ruined streets, soldiers paused for the first time in weeks. Some did not know why, but a small spark of hope flickered in their hearts. The people of Korath were tired, their homes destroyed, their families gone. Yet the thought that perhaps help could come, something beyond their knowledge, beyond their enemies, made their hearts beat faster. Meanwhile, in the vast emptiness of space, the distress signal left the planet. It traveled faster than the fastest ships, slipping through the unseen folds of the galaxy. Stars streaked past it as it carried Korath's plea. And though it was only a whisper among countless signals, it carried the weight of a civilization on the brink of destruction. Weeks passed. Days turned into nights, and the enemy fleet pressed closer. Korath fought bravely, but each battle brought new losses. Ships that had once gleamed in the sun were now smoking wrecks, drifting through space. Soldiers and citizens alike felt the heavy weight of despair. They had done everything they could. Their technology, their courage, their strategies, all of it seemed not enough. In the command hall, Celira studied the skies. She watched the enemy formations, noting patterns, weaknesses, and strengths. Her mind was calm, but her heart carried the same tension as everyone else's. "We cannot fail," she whispered to herself. "We must survive, somehow." Varric approached, his face unreadable. "Do you really think they will come?" he asked quietly. Celira looked at him, her gaze steady. "I do not know. But the fact that we sent the signal means we have tried. And trying. Trying is better than dying without a fight." The next day, the enemy launched a massive assault. Hundreds of ships descended on Korath's surface. Explosions shook the planet and cities burned in waves. The alien defense systems, worn from constant battles, struggled to hold. Soldiers ran from shelter to shelter, firing at enemies that seemed endless. But in the midst of chaos, something strange happened. A new pattern appeared in the enemy formations, movements that seemed almost hesitant. Their attacks were sharp, but not perfect. Their confidence was strong, but cracks showed. It was subtle, but to Celira it was a sign. Perhaps, just perhaps. The galaxy had heard their call. Even among civilians hiding in the ruins, whispers spread. The humans. Will they come? Children asked their parents. Adults did not have answers. All they could do was wait and hope. Days turned into nights again. Supply lines ran thin. The alien fleets were smaller than before, their ships damaged and crews exhausted. Every corner of Korath held stories of loss, parents searching for children, siblings trying to protect each other, soldiers refusing to give up even when everything seemed lost. The air was heavy with smoke and sorrow, but also with a strange, fragile hope. Celira spent long hours in the command hall watching space. Varric often sat beside her, silent but alert. "If they do not come," he said once, "then we will die here. Every one of us. And our civilization will be forgotten." Celira did not answer at first. She did not want to speak words of despair, but she did not hide from reality either. "Then we will die fighting," she said finally. "And even if we fall, at least we tried. At least we reached out. At least we did not surrender completely." The night was dark, and the fires from the cities lit the sky with red and orange. From the ruins, cries of both pain and determination echoed. Somewhere, far across the galaxy, the signal continued its journey. No one knew if anyone would respond. No one knew if help would arrive in time. But the people of Korath, for the first time in many days, felt the tiniest flicker of hope. And in that hope, a spark was born. The spark that might change everything. The spark that might bring the humans. The spark that might save them all. Far across the galaxy, in the calm orbit of a blue and green planet called Terra, the humans lived their lives much like any other civilization, busy, curious, and always reaching for the stars. But today, something unusual appeared on the screens of the human command center. A signal, coded and strange, unlike any they had encountered before, blinked urgently. Captain Lena Harlow, a senior officer in the Human Space Command, leaned over the console. Her brown eyes narrowed as she studied the patterns. "This is not a normal communication," she said. "It's complex. Someone is asking for help, but they are trying to hide it. It's clever." Her assistant, Lieutenant Milo Chen, tapped a few keys. "The frequency is old, ancient even. Only a species with advanced knowledge of galactic signals could send this. Whoever it is, they are desperate. And they are intelligent." Lena straightened, her heart quickening. "Do we know who it's from?" Milo shook his head. "No, it's unclear, but the message contains coordinates near the Korath system. It's unusual. The transmissions don't match anything in our archives. Whoever sent this knows we are humans." Humans had long been regarded as unpredictable, but also brilliant in strategy and problem-solving. Legends of human ingenuity existed in whispers among other species, though few had ever seen it firsthand. Now an unknown civilization was asking for their help. Lena called her commanding officers into the strategy room. Holographic maps flickered to life, showing the Korath system. "We have a signal here," she said. "It's not a trap, at least not clearly. It's a call for help. Someone is in trouble, big trouble, and it seems they think we are the only ones who can help." Admiral Elias Kane, a veteran who had seen countless battles, rubbed his chin. "Humans do not intervene in foreign wars lightly. Politics, treaties, and diplomacy usually keep us out. But if this is true, if a civilization is truly on the brink of destruction, we might have a moral obligation, and the opportunity to see what legends say about humans in action." Lena nodded. "We need to respond quickly. The signal shows urgency. If we wait too long, they may be gone before we arrive. And if the enemy detects them first, this could end before it even begins." The team began preparations. Ships were readied, strategies planned, and technology upgraded. Humans prided themselves on adaptability and innovation, and they prepared for every possible scenario. Engineers designed new formations of ships, weapons, and shields that could handle an enemy larger and stronger than the aliens themselves. Meanwhile, in the quiet of the command center, Lena studied the signal again. The message was desperate, yet it carried hope. Whoever sent it had risked everything to reach out. Lena felt a mix of curiosity and determination. "We don't know who they are," she said to Milo, "but they believe in us. They believe humans can make a difference. We will not disappoint them." The final decision came from the Council of Human Command. After debates about risk, politics, and the unknown, they gave the order. The human fleet would respond. Ships that could travel faster than any known alien technology would leave Terra and journey to the Korath system. It was a long journey, but humans were known for their speed, endurance, and unexpected strategies. Days passed as the fleet prepared. Soldiers trained relentlessly. Pilots ran simulations of battle scenarios they had never seen. Engineers tested weapons in new ways, combining technology and creativity in ways no one outside humanity could predict. Every detail mattered. Every decision mattered. Then at last the fleet jumped into hyperspace, leaving the familiar stars behind. It was a silent, powerful moment. From orbit, Terra looked peaceful and small, but the fleet carried the hopes of a civilization capable of turning the tide of war for another species. Back on Korath, the alien leaders waited. The signal had been sent weeks ago, and the days felt endless. Every ship that returned to the ruins of the capital brought more bad news. Supplies ran low and soldiers were exhausted. Yet somewhere deep in their minds, the thought of humans coming kept them going. In the skies above Korath, enemy ships loomed like black shadows. Their commanders were confident. They had already crushed multiple systems, and Korath seemed next. Yet something in the enemy communications detected an anomaly. Reports came in that strange energy readings had appeared near their outer perimeter, readings unlike any weapon or ship they had encountered. But before they could investigate, the signals vanished. Celira, standing on the highest tower of the command hall, observed the distant horizon. "We may not have much time," she said quietly to Varric. "But if they come, they will change everything," Varric grunted. "I hope your faith is not wasted. We are running out of options." Celira turned her gaze to the stars, imagining the humans coming through hyperspace. She pictured the strange formations, the precision, the courage the legends spoke of. "They will come," she said. "And when they do, our enemy will not know what hit them." Days later, the humans exited hyperspace near the Korath system. Their fleet appeared suddenly, massive and shining under the distant suns. The alien leaders could hardly believe their eyes. Ships unlike any they had ever seen filled the skies, moving with precision and confidence. The humans' ships were not the largest or most numerous, but they radiated a strange energy, discipline, ingenuity, and strength that the enemy could not anticipate. Celira's voice trembled slightly as she spoke to Varric. "They have arrived." Varric's claws tightened on the railing. "I never imagined we would see this day. They are enormous and yet calm, as if nothing can stop them." The human fleet formed a line in orbit, scanning the planet and enemy positions. For a moment there was silence. No one moved, as if the galaxy itself held its breath. Then a human admiral's voice echoed through communications. "We are here. We received your call. Tell us what you need and we will act. Together, we will face this threat." The aliens stared at the screen, unable to believe what they were hearing. Celera stepped forward. We are losing. Our fleets are shattered. Our cities are under siege. The enemy is overwhelming. We do not know if we can hold. But if you help us, if you fight with us, there may be hope." The Admiral's voice was steady, confident. "Hope is what we bring. Tell us your weaknesses. Show us the battlefield. We will adjust and we will fight. Humans are not perfect, but we never back down from the impossible." The alien soldiers whispered among themselves. They had never imagined such words. They had never imagined help arriving from a species so far away, so unpredictable yet so fearless. The first humans landed on Korath, not in massive armies, but in small, precise squads. Their movements were coordinated and swift, unlike anything the aliens had seen. They carried tools, weapons, and devices designed to maximize efficiency and minimize risk. Every action was calculated, every decision deliberate. Yet, there was a strange sense of bravery and creativity in everything they did. Celera watched as one squad dismantled a damaged enemy drone, repaired it, and used it to gather intelligence. "They are different," she said quietly. "They do not fight like us. They think differently, move differently. They adapt." Varric nodded slowly. "Different, yes. But perhaps that difference is exactly what we need." As the humans moved through the alien cities, they coordinated with local forces, teaching strategies, pointing out weaknesses in enemy formations and boosting morale. Soldiers who had been on the verge of despair now stood taller. Their courage returned, bolstered by the presence of allies who did not fear the impossible. Above the planet, enemy scouts reported strange attacks. Small groups of ships struck, vanished, and reappeared in ways that confused and unnerved the enemy commanders. The humans' tactics were unlike anything they had faced before. Precision, speed, and unpredictable maneuvers made it seem as if the humans were everywhere at once. Back in the command hall, Celera felt a surge of hope she had not known in weeks. "They may actually save us," she whispered to Varric. "They may actually save Korath." Varric's voice was low, thoughtful. "I have fought many battles, but I have never seen anything like this. Perhaps, just perhaps, the legends were true." As night fell on Korath, lights from the human fleet glimmered above, a promise of hope. The alien people, exhausted but not defeated, prepared for the first coordinated strike with their new allies. For the first time in many days, fear did not rule their hearts. Instead, anticipation and courage filled them. The humans had arrived, and the war was about to change. The human fleet hovered above Korath like a silent promise. From orbit, their ships gleamed under the pale light of the distant suns. Unlike anything the alien forces had seen before, these ships were not massive, but their structure, design, and energy fields gave them a sense of power far beyond their size. Every alien on the command deck felt it. Something different had arrived. Admiral Kane, leading the humans from the bridge of his flagship, spoke calmly to his officers. "We do not underestimate them. The aliens are cornered, but they are intelligent and resourceful. We will work with them, not for them. Observe, adapt, and respond. This is what humans do best." The first transmissions to the Korath command hall arrived moments later. Holographic images of human officers flickered to life, standing with calm confidence. "We are here," one of them said. "We have received your call. Tell us what you need and we will act." Celera stepped forward, her voice trembling with relief and awe. "Our cities are under siege. Our fleets are shattered. The enemy surrounds us from every side. We need guidance, strategy, anything you can offer." The human officer nodded. "We will assess, advise, and fight. But first, we need to understand the battlefield. Show us the enemy positions, your resources, and your priorities." Over the next hours, alien leaders and humans worked together. Holographic maps, satellite scans, and reconnaissance drones displayed the chaos of Korath's skies. Enemy fleets moved like dark clouds across space, their confidence clear but their strategy rigid and predictable. "See their formations?" said a human officer named Lieutenant Ramos. "They focus on numbers and size. Strength in quantity, not in tactics. That is where we can help." Celera nodded. "We have tried everything. They always anticipate our attacks. Their numbers overwhelm our strategies. If humans can find a weakness..." "Maybe," Ramos smiled slightly. We do more than find weaknesses. We adapt, we improvise, we change the battlefield with every move. Watch carefully. You will see. Outside the command hall, the first coordinated strike began. Small human squads moved through orbit, weaving between alien and enemy ships with speed and precision. The alien forces, trained for traditional fleet battles, could hardly comprehend the humans' movements. One moment they were here, the next they vanished, striking weak points that no alien had dared approach. Enemy ships fired relentlessly, but the humans' tactics confused them. Decoy drones distracted their weapons. Targeting algorithms predicted enemy movements before the enemy realized them. Every strike was calculated to disable without unnecessary destruction, and every maneuver carried the confidence of minds used to solving impossible problems. On the surface, soldiers of Korath watched in awe. Many had lost hope weeks ago, but now they stood taller. Their human allies were not just powerful, they were brilliant, fearless, and inventive. Where aliens had thought defeat was inevitable, now there was possibility. Varric could hardly believe his eyes. "I have fought many wars," he muttered to Celira, "but never like this. They move differently. They think differently. The enemy does not know what hit them." Celira nodded. "This is what I hoped for. This is what the legend said. Humans do not just fight. They transform battles into opportunities." As the hours passed, the humans' strategies continued to unfold. They advised alien commanders on how to maximize their remaining ships. They repaired damaged vessels with speed and ingenuity. They even used enemy technology against them, turning captured drones into reconnaissance tools. Above the planet, enemy commanders grew uneasy. "These humans," one hissed, his voice trembling. "Their movements, unpredictable. Their attacks, precise. They are different. Focus fire. Destroy them before they interfere further." But it was too late. Every move the humans made created chaos in the enemy fleet. Ships collided in confusion, communications broke down, and the enemy's confidence began to crumble. The aliens of Korath, inspired by the humans, struck back with renewed courage. They had believed themselves cornered and helpless, but now they fought with hope and determination, guided by the human strategies. Lieutenant Ramos directed a small team to the enemy flagship. "We will cut their communication lines first. Confusion will spread quickly if we disrupt their coordination." With precision and speed, they executed their plan. Within moments, enemy formations became disorganized. Signals jammed. Orders conflicted. Their advantage of size and numbers slipped away. Celira watched the unfolding chaos. Her heart raced with excitement and relief. "They are doing it. They are saving us. Korath may yet survive." Varric's claws tapped nervously on the console. "I cannot believe it. Our enemy, so large, so powerful, and yet they falter before these humans." As battle raged, the humans also focused on minimizing casualties. Civilians trapped in cities were evacuated using advanced transport pods. Damaged infrastructure was temporarily repaired to maintain communication and logistics. Every human action displayed intelligence, bravery, and care. To the aliens, it seemed almost magical, a combination of thought, courage, and skill that could not be matched by sheer force. Enemy commanders tried new strategies, desperate to counter the humans, but every attempt failed. Humans adapted instantly. When a new enemy formation appeared, humans analyzed it in seconds, identified weak points, and redirected the aliens' remaining ships to exploit them. It was a constant game of anticipation, reaction, and improvisation, one the enemy could not win. On the battlefield, an alien pilot shouted over the comms, astonished. "I have fought for decades, but never have I seen such skill. These humans, they are everywhere at once, yet in perfect order." Ramos responded calmly. "We focus on patterns, predictable patterns. We turn chaos into opportunity. You do your part, and we will guide the rest." Hours turned into a full day of fighting. Slowly, the enemy fleet began to retreat, unable to hold against the combined might of human ingenuity and alien courage. Ships that had once seemed invincible were now disabled or captured. The aliens of Korath, watching the sky, could hardly believe their eyes. Celira turned to Varric, voice filled with awe. "We called for help, and they answered. They did not just fight with us, they changed everything. They changed the battlefield, the war, our hope." Varric remained silent, his gaze fixed on the retreating enemy. "I always believed in honor, courage, and skill. But humans bring something else. Something extraordinary. Perhaps the galaxy underestimated them all along. As night fell on Korath, fires burned less fiercely. The humans coordinated with alien forces to clean up the remaining enemy stragglers. Recon squads were deployed to ensure no threats remained hidden. Even in the aftermath of battle, humans showed discipline, intelligence, and efficiency. In the command hall, Salira addressed the remaining alien leaders. "We have survived, not by our power alone, but because of these humans. They are unlike anything we imagined. Their courage, their skill, their strategy, it saved us all." Varric nodded. "We were desperate. We called for the impossible, and the impossible came. Humans are remarkable, perhaps more than any of us knew." The humans themselves remained humble. Admiral Kane spoke to Salira privately. "We do not seek glory. We only act where needed, where the odds seem impossible. That is what humans do. But today your people fought with courage. Together we turned the tide. That is the true strength, unity, hope, and determination." Salira smiled, tears in her eyes. "You have given us more than survival. You have given us hope, and hope. Hope is stronger than any weapon." As the first human ships prepared to rest in orbit, the people of Korath looked up at the stars with newfound admiration. They had heard stories of humans before, but now they had seen them with their own eyes. These were beings who could face the impossible, who could fight with courage and ingenuity, who could transform hopeless situations into victories. Somewhere deep in the hearts of the aliens, a promise was made. Whenever humans arrived, they would never be underestimated. Whenever the galaxy faced impossible odds, they would remember this day, the day when a civilization on the brink of defeat made one last call. And humans answered. And though the battle was not yet over, the first contact between humans and aliens had set the stage for something greater. Together they would face the next challenges, stronger, wiser, and united by courage and determination. The legend of the humans had begun. The day after the humans arrived, Korath's skies were quiet for the first time in weeks. The enemy fleet had retreated, but their presence still loomed like a shadow. The alien people knew this was only temporary. They could not afford to relax. Yet hope burned brighter than it had in months, and it was all because of the humans. In the command hall, Salira and the human officers gathered to plan the next move. The holographic map displayed enemy positions, damaged fleets, and vulnerable points in their supply lines. Lieutenant Ramos, standing beside a human strategist, pointed to several nodes of activity. "Here," Ramos said, "their communication network is weak. We can cut off reinforcements and isolate their main fleet. Then, combined with your forces, we can strike decisively." Salira nodded. "Our remaining ships can handle small skirmishes, but we cannot face their main fleet head-on. This may be our only chance." Admiral Kane added, "Humans excel when the odds seem impossible. We will use speed, precision, and deception. But the key is coordination. Your people must trust each other and us. Together we can turn this war around." Varric, pacing the hall, looked uneasy. "We are talking about overwhelming forces. Even with humans, this may be beyond our ability. If we fail, nothing will remain of Korath." Salira's gaze was firm. "If we fail doing nothing, nothing remains anyway. We have one chance, and we will take it." Outside, alien fleets and human ships prepared for coordinated strikes. Engineers worked tirelessly, repairing damaged vessels and reinforcing defenses. Civilians helped as well, carrying supplies, tending to the wounded, and keeping morale high. The humans moved among them, showing care and guidance, teaching new strategies to strengthen defenses. The first strike began at dawn. Human ships, small squads, and larger command vessels moved in patterns that seemed chaotic but were perfectly calculated. Enemy scouts spotted them, but by the time they reacted, the humans were already elsewhere, striking at weak points and disrupting formations. Salira observed the battle from the command hall. "They are everywhere at once," she whispered. "And yet, in perfect order," Varric grunted. "It is unlike anything I have ever seen. We fought long and hard with every strategy we knew. Humans, they fight differently. They make the impossible possible." As the humans struck, Korath's remaining forces gained confidence. Soldiers who had been afraid to move now advanced with precision. Pilots executed maneuvers they had never learned before, guided by human tactics. Engineers repaired ships mid-battle, creating small but vital advantages. Every alien who fought alongside humans felt empowered, their courage restored. The enemy fleet, confident in their superior numbers, tried to adapt. They formed massive waves, hoping to crush both humans and aliens. But the humans anticipated every move. Drones intercepted signals, decoys drew fire, and attacks were launched from directions the enemy never expected. Chaos spread through their ranks. Lieutenant Ramos directed a small team toward the enemy supply lines. Without their supplies, their fleet will collapse. We cut this, and their advantage disappears. The squad executed their mission with speed and precision, disabling transport ships and cutting communications. Within hours, the enemy's main fleet lost cohesion. Orders were delayed, formations broke apart, and panic began to spread. Celira turned to Varric, her voice trembling with awe. They are doing it. Our people. Your ships. They fight with courage and intelligence. This is what we needed. Varric nodded slowly. I cannot believe it. We were certain of defeat, and yet, here we are, turning the tide. On the ground, civilians watched as alien and human forces coordinated attacks. Where once cities had been silent, now there were cheers and songs of hope. Streets were cleared of enemy remnants. Wounded were rescued, and signals of resistance spread across the planet. Korath was alive again. Above the planet, human and alien pilots executed daring maneuvers. One squad, led by a young human named Captain Rhea Collins, approached the enemy flagship. Using a combination of speed, stealth, and clever diversions, they infiltrated the enemy formation. Their goal was not destruction alone, but to force surrender through precision strikes. Inside the enemy flagship, confusion reigned. Orders were ignored, signals jammed, and ships moved in panic. Enemy commanders realized too late that the humans had studied them, predicted their movements, and anticipated their strategies. Every attempt to counter the humans failed. Back in the command hall, Celira could hardly contain her excitement. They are collapsing. The enemy is collapsing. This is incredible. Varric's eyes gleamed. In all my years, I have never seen such brilliance in battle. Humans, they are more than fighters. They are thinkers, innovators, and leaders. They make war an art. The first full day of the counterattack ended with the enemy fleet in retreat. The humans and aliens had achieved what seemed impossible, turning the tide of a war that was all but lost. Ships that had once been symbols of doom now floated in victory. The skies of Korath were alive with light, as surviving forces repaired, regrouped, and celebrated. Celira addressed her people. We called for help. We were at the brink of defeat. And help came. Humans have shown us what courage, ingenuity, and determination can do. Today we have hope again. Today we are alive, Varric added, his voice echoing across the hall. This day will be remembered. The enemy thought us weak. They thought victory was certain, but they did not count on the humans, and they did not count on us. Even as the enemy retreated, the humans continued to coordinate. They advised on future strategies, shared technology, and helped repair vital infrastructure. Hospitals were set up, supply lines restored, and communication networks rebuilt. Every action demonstrated efficiency, intelligence, and compassion. Lieutenant Ramos, watching a damaged alien ship being repaired, smiled. This is what we do. We face the impossible, adapt, and make the best of it. But it is not just us. Your people fought with courage, and that made all the difference. Celira nodded. We would have fallen without you. But you did more than help us fight. You gave us hope, courage, and a chance to survive. That is something we will never forget. As night fell over Korath, fires from the remaining enemy attacks dimmed. The humans and aliens stood together watching the stars. The battle was not over completely, but the momentum had shifted. Korath was alive, and the enemy knew it. In private, Admiral Kane spoke to Celira. Human strength is not in numbers or weapons alone. It is in thinking, adapting, and having courage when hope seems lost. Your people have the same strength, and together we change the outcome. That is the power of unity and ingenuity. Celira smiled, tears in her eyes. You have given us more than survival. You have given us a future. Varric, standing beside them, added, This is only the beginning. The enemy will return, but now they know they cannot defeat us easily. They underestimated humans, and they underestimated Korath. Together we will be stronger than ever. Throughout the night, humans and aliens continued to repair, regroup, and plan. Civilians helped with supplies, engineers repaired ships, and soldiers shared stories of bravery. Even in the aftermath of battle, a new bond was forming, one of trust, respect, and admiration. The legend of the humans was growing. The alien people now understood what had seemed like myth. Humans could face the impossible, adapt to any challenge, and inspire hope in those who had none. They were not invincible, but their courage, skill, and ingenuity made them a force that could not be ignored. Celira looked out at the stars, thinking of the future. "We were on the brink of defeat," she whispered. "We made one last call, and it changed everything. Humans have given us a chance, and we will not waste it." Above Korath, the human ships glimmered in orbit. Their presence was not just a military advantage, it was a symbol. A symbol of hope, courage, and the power of the unexpected. The galaxy was beginning to take notice, and the enemy would remember this day for a long time. The tide had turned, and the war would never be the same again. The sun rose over Korath, casting light on cities that had survived fire and battle. The enemy fleet had been driven back, scattered across the stars, and Korath's people were alive once more. Streets that had been silent for weeks now echoed with voices, cheers, laughter, and the hum of life returning. In the grand command hall, Celira stood at the front, overlooking the remaining fleets. Humans and aliens worked together seamlessly, coordinating patrols, repairing ships, and securing borders. The presence of the humans was no longer just help. It had become guidance, inspiration, and strength. Admiral Kane, standing beside her, studied the alien command screens. "Your people fought with courage. We only guided, adapted, and amplified it. That is what humans do. We do not fight alone, but we bring strength where it is needed most." Celira nodded. "It is more than guidance. You have changed our perspective. You showed us that even when hope is gone, action, intelligence, and courage can create miracles. Korath will never forget this." Varric, leaning on the table, added, "We were ready to surrender. Every plan had failed. Every strategy seemed pointless, and yet, here we stand. Alive, strong, and the credit belongs not only to humans but to all of us working together." Across the planet, the alien people were repairing homes, hospitals, and schools. Civilians who had spent weeks hiding in fear now ventured into the streets. Children laughed as they chased one another between rubble. Soldiers shared stories of bravery, and engineers worked alongside humans, learning new techniques for rebuilding the planet. In orbit, human ships maintained watch over Korath, ready to assist if needed, yet giving the aliens space to take control of their home. Their presence was calm, confident, and reassuring. The humans did not seek glory or reward. They only acted where help was needed. That alone impressed the alien leaders. Celira walked through the streets of the capital with Admiral Kane. The humans moved among civilians, listening to their stories, helping repair damaged structures, and teaching small groups how to organize relief efforts efficiently. It was a different kind of power, one built not on weapons but on intelligence, kindness, and leadership. A young alien engineer approached them, holding a repaired communications device. This would have taken weeks alone, but with humans helping, it was done in hours. "Our people will communicate again. We can coordinate, share resources, and protect our planet better than before." Kane smiled. "That is the point. Strength is not only in fighting, it is in knowledge, organization, and the ability to solve problems quickly. You have the courage, now you have the tools. Together you are unstoppable." Celira felt a warmth in her chest. "You have given us more than safety. You have given us confidence. Korath can rise again, stronger than ever. Our people will remember this day, not only as survival but as a turning point." Varric looked out toward the horizon, where the enemy remnants had disappeared. "The enemy thought us weak. They thought victory was certain. But we survived. They underestimated us, and they underestimated humans. That mistake will not be forgotten in the galaxy." Even the civilians felt the shift. Where fear had ruled for weeks, now there was hope. Merchants reopened shops, farmers returned to the fields, and students began to attend schools again. Humanity's example had reminded them that even in the darkest times, courage and ingenuity could bring light. The humans, however, were preparing to depart. Their mission was not to rule or claim land. It was to help when needed and leave once the crisis was managed. Admiral Kane gathered his officers and spoke to Celira and Varric. "Korath is safe for now. Your people are strong, and they have learned much from this experience. We will stay in orbit to monitor and assist if necessary. But the planet is yours to rebuild. Remember what we taught you, and your future will be bright." Celira felt a pang of sadness. She had come to respect the humans deeply, Their discipline, courage, and creativity had not only saved Korath but also inspired its people. Yet she knew they had to leave. "We will not forget," she said. "Your actions will be remembered for generations. Korath owes you everything." Varric, usually reserved, nodded firmly. "We called for help when all seemed lost," Humans answered. "That is a bond that cannot be broken. Whenever we face impossible odds again, we will remember this day, and we will remember what humans taught us." The day of departure arrived. Human ships gathered in orbit, engines humming quietly. Citizens and soldiers watched from below, waving, cheering, and showing gratitude. It was not just the victory they celebrated, it was the courage, wisdom, and hope the humans had brought to their world. Captain Rhea Collins, leading one squad of human ships, spoke to the crowd over broadcast. "We did not come to claim victory. We came because you called. Your courage made our actions possible. You defended your homes, your families, and your people. That is what matters most. Remember, when hope seems lost, action, courage, and ingenuity can turn the tide." As the fleet jumped into hyperspace, leaving Korath behind, Celira and Varric watched from the tallest tower in the capital. The skies were peaceful, the fires dimmed, and the streets were alive again. The humans had left, but their presence remained, a symbol, a lesson, and a promise. Celira turned to Varric. "We were on the brink of defeat. We made one last call, and it changed everything. They gave us life, hope, and courage. Korath will never forget the humans." Varric's eyes softened. "And the galaxy will take note. If we survived this, any other civilization can survive when humans are willing to act. They are unpredictable, brilliant, and fearless, and they make those around them stronger." In the following weeks, Korath rebuilt. Schools reopened, hospitals were restored, and communication lines repaired. Alien engineers integrated some human technology into their own systems, learning new ways to protect their planet. Soldiers trained in strategies taught by humans, preparing for any future threats. The story of that desperate call spread across the stars. Other civilizations began to whisper about the humans, how they appeared when all seemed lost, how they turned impossible battles into victories, and how they inspired hope in even the darkest times. Korath became a symbol of what could happen when courage and ingenuity meet opportunity. Celira, standing on the highest tower at sunset, looked toward the stars where the humans had disappeared. "They will return someday," she whispered. "Not because they seek glory, but because they act where needed. And when they do, the galaxy will be changed again." Varric placed a clawed hand on her shoulder. "We survived because we dared to hope, and because humans answered that hope. Today Korath lives. Tomorrow the galaxy may face other dangers, but we will be ready, and humans will always be a part of our story." The first stars of night appeared, shining over a planet reborn. Children played in the streets, soldiers trained under starlight, and citizens rebuilt homes with renewed vigor. Above them, the memory of humans lingered, not as conquerors, not as rulers, but as heroes, teachers, and symbols of what courage and intelligence could achieve. In the far reaches of space, the enemy fleet regrouped, shaken and humiliated. They had underestimated both the aliens and the humans. Their retreat would be remembered as a warning to anyone who thought victory was easy. Humans were unpredictable, formidable, and unwavering, and any civilization that faced them would know that impossible odds were not enough to guarantee defeat. On Korath, life returned to normal. The people worked together, inspired by the lessons the humans had left behind. They learned to adapt, think strategically, and value courage above all else. Celira wrote a record of the events, ensuring future generations would know what had happened. Not only the battles, but the example of hope, ingenuity, and bravery that humans had brought. And though the humans were gone, their legacy remained. A civilization that had been on the brink of defeat had survived. A galaxy that had feared the impossible learned to respect it. And one small call, made in desperation, had changed the course of history. The story of Korath and the humans would be told for generations, not as a tale of despair, but as a tale of hope, courage, and the power of action when all seemed lost. Because sometimes, when everything seems impossible, the right help at the right moment can change everything.